Good old Scientology. I haven't heard anything about Scientology in quite a while, actually. And I actually live fairly close to the grand global, whatever they call it, headquarters of Scientology in downtown Clearwater. So I've seen plenty of Scientologists around. I live in the northern St. Pete area, technically in Seminole, which is pretty close to Clearwater. And, we got Largo in between where I live and Clearwater. But anyway, I've been up there too many times to count. They've got tons of buildings up there. It's a very sketchy area as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's got their white collared shirts on, tucked into their black pants, and they just appear to just be aimlessly walking around from building to building. Never really know what they're up to. They're just there. They're always around. And that's just kind of that, It's just kind of a strange thing. And of course, I've seen that big documentary. What was that? Going Clear. And Leah Remini, she had her thing with Scientology for a while. I watched a few of those episodes. So there was like a small period of time where I was watching Scientology stuff and just trying to understand the cult. At least that's what they're known as these days, is somewhat of a cult. I'm not accusing them necessarily. I'm just saying, I'm just repeating what I've heard, what I've seen. But I came across this video. This came out a couple of weeks ago. It's on this channel, Growing Up in Scientology. Subscribed already. And it's a good watch. I've gotten a little bit into it. So I figured, why not just do some commentary on it. Anyway, the video, it's called It's Happening. Scientology is Crumbling. And in my opinion, Scientology has probably been crumbling for quite a while. I'm sure their numbers are not going up and up like they used to. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he's probably going to get into that. Hopefully we'll hear some statistics. I don't know if he knows the nitty-gritty details. Being someone who I believe is a former Scientologist, the person who's running this channel. So without wasting any more time, I'm just going to go ahead and get straight into it. It starts off with this intro, so I guess I'll just play through it. It kind of looks like an ad for YouTube, to be honest. I'm not really sure what this is all about, but...
Do you want to go to war, Balaki? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron
okay.
is here. Welcome back, everybody.
That was a lot shorter than I thought. It caught me by surprise when I first saw that, because I did a double take. Like, wait, am I watching YouTube on Chrome? Like, what's happening here? I don't understand. Oh, okay. Yeah, it was just some like brief intro that he had. But anyway, I'll go and get into it.
SPTV, where every day is a great day. Not to be in a cult.
Hell yeah,
okay,
man.
Guys,
Glass half full.
It
is a great day. It's always a great day.
On some of the latest information outside of the cult bubble of Scientology.
See Scientology? He said, I didn't say, he said that. I didn't say
family destroying human trafficking cult.
Don't get mad at me.
And guys, the news is good.
Don't come after me.
Very, very good. Scientology is crumbling. Now, if you watch a lot of my videos, this is no surprise to you. The only people who don't seem to understand how fast Scientology is crumbling are Scientologists. Somewhat ironic. They should be the ones to whom it should be most obvious, but it's not. And that's just the nature of being in a cult. You guys, it's just the nature of being in a cult. You get those cult blinders on, and you can be the smartest guy in the world, but when it comes to your cult...
Who, L. Ron Hubbard? Oh my God, he's so smart.
Really, really stupid. And I've got...
Yeah, dude wrote over, what was it, 1,000 science fiction books or novels or whatever you want to call it. He was the most prolific, or is prolific the right word? He's the guy who wrote more science fiction works. He wrote more works of science fiction than any other human being on the planet. L. Ron Hubbard did. He wrote over 1,000 works of fiction, science fiction. And not sure if it's ironclad true, but apparently he told his girlfriend or wife or whoever at the time, he's like, the only way to get ahead in this world is and get rich is by starting your own religion or something like that. I think that was in that documentary I saw, but anyway.
I've got a hard stop here because I'm recording an interview with another channel for their channel in exactly 30 minutes. So I'm gonna keep this somewhat brief.
Well, all right.
But this information comes from a 30-year Sea Org veteran, Sea Org officer.
All right.
Recently left from the Flag Land base.
That would be here in Clearwater.
And there are so many high-level veteran Sea Org members leaving from the Flag Land base.
No shit.
That my having just described where this information comes from does not put anybody at risk, believe me. And I've been spending an awful lot of time chatting with this person, and there's so much information to share. I've just written down some nuggets.
Documentary time, man.
It's
Documentary
truly
time.
incredible.
Part 2.
All right, let's just go down. Just some of
Part
the notes
20.
that I've made. Okay, the Flagland base in Clearwater, Florida is
Uh,
the largest Scientology organization in the world. It's the largest Sea Org base in the world. It is the largest moneymaker for Scientology in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of big, dude. It's kind of big. Actually, matter of fact, let me see if I can bring something up about that. I have nothing pulled up yet because, again, I'm watching this with you. Let me see if I can try to find something about that. Let me see if I can find something. Well, actually, I kind of wanted to search Google for that, but whatever. We'll see what this brings up. I want to see if we can find a map that shows you the number of buildings. Here we go. Parishioner-run companies, the local government. Oh my God, dude, look at this shit. This is crazy. So this is downtown Clearwater. Oh, come on, Daily Mail. Well, now I'm skeptical because I can't stand the Daily Mail. Well, hold on. All right. Anyway, let me just assume this to be the case. Now let me pull this up. I'm going to pull up a map of downtown Clearwater, and then you'll get a good idea as to the scale of what this is. I mean, they own a lot of downtown Clearwater. It's nuts, actually. It's actually pretty freaking nuts. So let me go up here. Oh my God, my computer's slow. Okay. So this is downtown Clearwater. As soon as it decides to come into view, or did I go up too high? I went up too high. I think I did. I went up too high. This is downtown Clearwater here. Just as soon as it figures out that it wants to get around to it. All right, so downtown Clearwater. Let me make it easier. Get rid of the satellite. Let's go with terrain. All right, now let's try this. Let's try a side-by-side here. So this map right here, let me try to bring it as close to scale as I can, just so you can get an idea as to how much that they actually own. It is crazy. Yeah, I mean, that might be roughly the best that I could do. I'm trying. Oh, yeah, here we go. Just getting a scale here. All right. So, yeah, this is the heart of downtown. And as you can see, all the pink, that's all Scientology owned. The purple, it's all Scientology owned. The whole parishioner-run companies, I mean, come on, you call it what it is. It's Scientology. And they own all of these city blocks, man. These are all city blocks that they own. And they're just filled with buildings. And it's absolutely nuts. And bringing it back into satellite. So, I mean, here, let me see if 3D might help you a little bit. Like, there's some tall buildings here. We're not talking a skyline of skyscrapers or anything like that for Clearwater. I mean, it's somewhat of a modest downtown, but it's a sizable downtown. They've got one-way streets going this way and that way. You know, it looks like a downtown looks. And, you know, the courthouse is down there, and, you know, there's other city buildings and whatnot. I mean, like, as it says here, local government, all those grayed out areas, that's all local government buildings. But anyway, yeah, they own a shitload of property, man. And let me see where this big chunk here. Let me see if I can figure out where that's at. I think that's what this is right here, if I'm not mistaken. Do I got that wrong? No, I think I got that right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the Bay Care Sound, which is this right here. So, yeah, all of this here, that's all Scientology. The religious retreat, the Osceola religious retreat, huh? And whatever this is here, this is all owned by Scientology as well. And oh man, let me just grab a street view. I know, I'm straying away from the video. I'm getting a little curious, but this is the only thing I'm gonna look at. I'm not gonna start scouring all over the place, but this is all Scientology property. This whole lot here, man. This is in downtown Clearwater. Look at all that open land that they have. I mean, like, they grabbed a lot of land from what I understand, because they were stacking, like, what was it, in the billions of dollars at some point, and they were worried that they were gonna start getting, you know, hit by the IRS. I think it was in that whole era, but in order to be recognized as a religion, you have to basically be nonprofit. And if Scientology is stacking away billions of dollars in bank accounts, it it doesn't exactly look nonprofit. You know, they have to at least give the appearance that they're doing what a religion ought to do. So they started gobbling up shitloads of land and buildings, like not just in Clearwater, but all over the world. I mean, all over the place. But yeah, anyway, this is all Scientology here. Just this little area here, and that's what this purple chunk is right here. But yeah, anyway, I'll go ahead and get out of this. But I just wanted to illustrate as to the size of Scientology in the downtown Clearwater area. It's more than sizable. I mean, in my opinion, at least just by looking at the map, it's really the majority of all of downtown Clearwater. And if you go down there and you walk around, most of those buildings look new. Like they've probably been constructed within the last probably 10 to 20 years at most. And they're all very well manicured. They look great, and it's because I'm sure it's the Sea Org who maintains the buildings and the groundskeeping and all that stuff. And you know, if you know anything about Scientology, you know the Sea Org, they're essentially slaves more or less financially. I mean, they don't work for any money. Like they exchange their labor for auditing sessions and for ascending up the OT ladder and whatnot. You know, like they devote their entire lives to Scientology, and in exchange they give them their manual labor essentially. But I mean, look, I'm not knocking that hardcore or anything. I mean, it's probably not a whole lot different than like what nuns do, and you know, like, I'm sure there's other members in like the Catholic Church, for instance, who probably, you know, like they don't only devote their life as far as their time, but also their actual effort, like their physical labor and whatnot, into maintaining the church and doing whatever it is they need to do. I mean, Mormons, they give up 2 years of their lives to go on missions around the country or even around the world in some cases. So, I mean, not the only religion who does it, but yeah, I mean, like if you've heard the stories about the Sea Org, man, that some of those stories are pretty freaking hardcore, man. But anyway, let's get back to this.
It's also the only organization, delivery service organization, that David Miscavige personally oversees. The
like a
status
dictator
of the Flagland base, the stats of the Flagland base, the
I didn't say
condition
that,
of the
did I?
Flagland base is supposed to be the one thing
he's
that is
not a
like the
dictator.
ultimate reflection of David Miscavige's competence and ability.
Right.
And the Flagland base, make no mistake, still makes an awful lot of money. But remember,
Well, their property is certainly worth a shitload
Flag,
of
the
money.
reason I'm describing it this way is, however it is at Flag, that is the best it's ever gonna get. It's only
And again, when you hear Flag, whenever you hear him mentioning Flag, that's what this is. Like Flag is essentially all of this. It's downtown Clearwater, more or less. I know that there is one building that is like the headquarters of all headquarters. It could be this one. It could be. I mean, here. Actually, matter of fact, let me see if I could bring that up then, because I'm pretty sure there is like a Flag building. Let me see if I could bring that up. Flag building. Yeah, here it is. It's a big ass fucking building, man. Yep. Actually, I was just down there just about probably 3 weeks ago. My daughter just graduated high school, and her commencement was down here. Not on the Scientology property. It wasn't. It was at that Baycare Sound, whatever that thing was. That like big, like, big arena looking thing. Anyway, yeah, that's it. It even has it on the front of the building. They even have it stamped on there. Flag. Right there. Flag. Boom. Yeah, so enormous, huge building. Obviously can't miss this if you're in the downtown Clearwater area. I mean, it's absolutely huge. This bridge, it connects to another building that's also large, not quite as large as this one, but it's a pretty freaking huge building. But yeah, there's a lot of buildings that look very similar to this, just like it, absolutely pristine looking, looks, very well put together. Looks like it's got a lot of money behind it.
Downhill from there as far as the stats and the condition of every other Scientology base, every other Sea Org base, every other Sea Org org, and every other Scientology org in the world. You know what?
By the way, that Flag building, it is the largest single building in all of Clearwater, Florida, by the way. I just noticed that before I clicked on that image. The largest building in Clearwater, Florida is the Flag building, formerly known as the Superpower building. So there you have it. There's your...
I'm going to start with
you learn something new every day.
I'm going to start with a bombshell, and this has nothing to do with organizational stats. Are you ready for this? I have been completely dead wrong about something I've been saying for years now. Tom Cruise has never finished OT7.
No. Oh, come on. Isn't he at
I
like
have been
OT
saying that
88 by
Tom
now?
Cruise is an OT8 for I don't even know how many years.
Oh, come on. That can't be true.
And
Maybe.
the reason I've been
I don't
saying
know.
that is because absence of any other contradictory evidence, the only possible conclusion any sane and rational person could make, even without evidence, is that Tom Cruise, being described by David Miscavige as the most dedicated Scientologist he has ever known.
Oh,
And
I'm sure he's brought in the most money.
Having publicly finished OT6 well over 10 years ago.
Oh, probably
like when
20
Tom
at
Cruise
this point.
finished OT6, he went up on stage at a special flag graduation and he was given his certificate and his plaque and his flowers and he gave a whole speech. And this was honestly back
his
sort
Medal
of
of
around
Freedom
the War
or
of the
whatever.
World era. That was 20 years ago.
I
and
believe
please,
it.
guys, those of you who have more clear information or the ability to Google it right now, fact check me. How long ago did Tom Cruise finish OT6?
Okay, let's do it then. When did Tom Cruise finish OT6? I don't know. When did Tom Cruise? I go to Google just because, it's Google. Finish OT6. Let's see it. Let's hear it. It's thinking, no, there is no confirmed date when Tom Cruise finished OT6. He never even finished OT6. He might not even be at O2 or OT3 or OT4. But wait, however, it is reported by late 1992, he had reportedly finished OT3. Okay, all right, so we know he's at least at OT3, but some reports suggest that he may have later reached OT7. There are also claims that he reached OT8, which is the highest level. Regarding OT6, though, operating thetan level, what is that, 6? VI, yeah, that's 6. Sorry, I'm not at my best when it comes to Roman numerals. Specifically, it is described as a solo NOT's auditing course where training for OT7 is delivered. So anyway, yeah, the gist of it, apparently there is no confirmed date when he finished OT6. I mean, it's not even going to give me just a ballpark. I mean, really, it's really not going to. I mean, how about, what if I go over and ask Grok? Maybe Grok would tell me. Grok might let me know, like when Tom Cruise finished OT6. I mean, it tends to deliver some information where Google's lacking, or Google just outright refuses to answer sometimes. But maybe I can get that answer out of Grok, perhaps. Maybe not, but I'm sure the word depends will be in here somewhere, though. Oh, well, it depends on who you ask, or it depends on... There is no definitive public record specifying the exact date when Tom Cruise completed operating thetan level in Scientology. However, according to a 2004 article by Der Spiegel, he had achieved the rank of OT6 by that year and was close to reaching OT7. Okay, so I think that's probably what he's referring to, is probably that 2004 article. So, I mean, I guess we'll just leave it at that. But, I mean, I apparently, on the official level, there is no date. So he might not even have achieved OT6.
But it was at least 10 years ago, and it feels like it's closer to 20 years ago. Well, guys, OT6 is just the course that you do that teaches you how to audit OT7.
Well, but Tom Cruise, he's too busy being awesome. You don't have time for that.
2 to 6 years.
He's making all these movies.
An active, dedicated,
he's getting pampered by the Sea Org.
When you're on OT7, you audit yourself 6 times a day, every single day, from the day you start the level. They call OT7.
Oh yeah, he ain't got time for that.
Longest level in Scientology. From the day you start OT7 to the day you finish OT7, you're supposed to.
No, he'll just pay for it. Can I just give you 10 million and you'll just give me the certificate?
And when you finish OT7, you do have to jump through some hoops to be approved, to be eligible for OT8. But
money.
The more hoops you have to jump through, the number of hoops you have to jump through is related to how dedicated and committed of a Scientologist you are. If you've been lax, if you've been slacking, if you've been out ethics, if you have not been active in your org, if you've
auditing,
if you've not been on the OT committee, all this stuff, you're gonna have to jump through.
They even got a fucking committee.
Cruise, the super Scientologist.
Oh yeah,
it should be automatic.
Super ultra mega Scientologist.
Get on your plane, fly to the ship, do OT8.
Like Tom Cruise has his own private mansion at the what is it, the Hemet, California compound, and that's not probably the only place where he's got a mansion. Like this dude's got his own private property inside Scientology compounds in different areas of the country, or even maybe in the world.
OT8 takes
crazy
days to a couple weeks,
and he's not even OT8. I thought he'd be like somehow ascend to like OT12 or some shit.
But just like his best friend and cult leader David Miscavige, Tom Cruise has never finished OT7.
Wow. Okay, that's kind of mind-blowing.
I was a Scientologist who for the last 20 years
oh, well, they don't know
have
that.
been being told that we could all only even hope to be as dedicated of a Scientologist as Tom Cruise.
And you know what a Scientologist would say if they saw this? If you showed this video to a practicing Scientologist, oh, this is all propaganda. He's making this up. It's all lies. It's not true. It's just simply not true. It's all lies. He's absolutely OT8. I saw the promotional video. They show it to us every Sunday morning. Tom Cruise, he comes out on the video and he talks about how he ascended to OT8 and he's operating Thetan and he's chasing all these ghosts around and God knows what.
I found out that this son of a bitch in the last 20 years hasn't even finished OT7, not because he's been on it for 20 years, but because he doesn't even work on it. I would be livid.
Or they might be in denial.
Tom Cruise has never finished OT7. And you might go, well, how would anybody know that?
Do you know?
Because anybody who has access to PC folders have a special color-coded tape system on them to indicate the current case level of that Scientologist. I believe it was anything from OT1 to OT3.
Yeah, but dude, you know Tom Cruise's file is locked like in some like sub basement vault that nobody except David Miscavige himself has access to, I would imagine. But what do I know? I don't know.
Yellow stripe of tape. If you're below the state of clear, you have no tape on your folder. If you're clear, you have a green piece of tape on your folder. Anything from OT1 to 3, it's a yellow piece of tape on your folder. OT4 is yellow and blue tape. OT5 is yellow and red. OT6 and 7 are really the same thing. And it's
like
more
getting your belt and karate.
It's like yellow and, I'm going to get it wrong. Yellow and like a purple, kind of a purple color. And then OT8 is yellow and blue. So anyone who sees Tom Cruise's folders, not looks in them, but sees them, the tape on the folder will indicate the current case level. And also, will it? The flag advanced org, right?
Yeah, but dude, come on. It's Tom Cruise. He's got his own color. It's gold, dude. He's got gold and silver on his file.
There's multiple
buildings.
It's
Tom Cruise, man.
There's buildings dedicated to the lower level services. There's a building dedicated to the higher level confidential service. The advanced org here is called the Sandcastle. And if you work or have anything to do with the Sandcastle, it is simply not a state secret to see Tom Cruise's folders. And also, if you are on the delivery lines of the people who deliver OT7, people are going to know exactly where Tom Cruise is at. Like David Miscavige is not the only one in Scientology who's going to be perfectly aware of Tom Cruise's status on OT7. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, there you go. Breaking news, guys. I was wrong. Tom Cruise isn't OT8, and he's not even OT7. Okay.
Wow.
I
mean, look, to be fair, look, I'm not making it up. I'm looking at it on the internet and it says that there's no definitive public record specifying. I know I've already shown this, but I'm just reiterating it one more time. Like, look, I ain't making this up. I'm just doing what he said. I looked it up. There's just no confirmed date that he finished it. All right. Hey, it's not me saying this. This is Google. This is Google saying this, not me. This is Grok over on X, the platform X, formerly Twitter. They're saying it too. I'm just using the internet. It's a resource that I pay for on a monthly basis, and the internet's telling me that he didn't finish OT, or well, the internet can't confirm it. So he might say that Tom Cruise never finished it. I'm saying on my point of view, I don't know, because I'm not a Scientologist, never been a Scientologist. I'm just a local Pinellas County resident, have been for a very long time. And, I'm just looking at it from, an outsider's point of view. So, it is what it is. But anyway, let's keep going with this.
Okay. The Flag Service Organization is the largest Sea Org base in the world. There is about 1,600 Sea Org members on the base.
That's
Over
it?
400 of those Sea Org members.
I figured it'd be like 10,000 or some shit.
Or more are so elderly, ill, and infirm that they are on reduced senior citizen schedules, and they spend their time at the hacienda feeding cats and reading newspapers and writing letters and grading extension courses.
All right.
This is one of Scientology's biggest problems when it comes to its workforce. How quickly
aging.
they are dying.
Uh-oh.
And that the Flagland base is losing Sea Org members to death of old age faster than they can recruit new members.
Yeah, I was to say, not getting new recruits.
There's about 2 new people arriving to Flag to do the Sea Org boot camp per week. Half of those guys wash out, don't even make it. I'm sorry, did I say week? I meant month. 2 new people per month arriving to what they call the EPF, the Estates Project Force, the Sea Org boot camp. And you know, those Sea Org recruits come from public Scientologists. They also come from other orgs, other Sea Org orgs. Others, you know, if a staff member joins the Sea Org, or if a Sea Org member from another base goes to Flag, they have to do the EPF at Flag. Only about 2 new
but
people.
like once you're in for life, though. Like you sign that like billion-year contract or something, right? Like when you're in like Flint. Like you're not getting out. You're stuck in that grid. I mean,
a month arriving
unless
to the base,
of course, unless you escape.
Members, half of those people wash out.
Allegedly.
That's 12 new Sea Org members to Flag per year.
I'm surprised they're letting them wash out.
Okay.
I'm surprised they're not just passing everybody in.
No grand master plan to create some elderly person's home, some assisted living facility, some retirement center to ship old Sea Org members off to. I thought that there was. There's a wealthy Scientologist that recently created an assisted living facility not far from or at the outer edge of Clearwater. And I thought for sure this was a coordinated effort with David Miscavige. I'm told, to the best of this person's knowledge, that it's not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Members that are considered to be imminently close to death are sent to a building behind the Fort Harrison called the Oaks, not to be confused with the Oak Cove. Behind the Fort Harrison are 2 twin buildings. Scientology owns one of them. They don't own the other one. The one that they own is called the Oak Cove. That is a Scientology hotel. The one next to it is called the Oaks. It is an old person's home. That's where they send people who they think are going to die in a few days or a few weeks because they do not want anybody dying at the Hacienda Gardens where the old people live.
Wow, that's dark.
Where the Sea Org members live. Okay, another interesting fact.
I mean, hopefully it's next door to Morton Plant Mees,
Scientology
the hospital.
Keeps buying new apartment buildings around Clearwater.
Hopefully it's close.
They obviously
it should be. I mean, that is downtown.
The answer shocked me.
Whoa, wait. Hold on. Wait, what did you say?
New apartment buildings around Clearwater. Why? I asked this person. Scientology keeps buying new apartment buildings around Clearwater. Why? They obviously don't.
Because they got to park their money somewhere.
The answer shocked me.
All right, let's hear
it. We have heard all the ex-Sea Org members that you hear from have explained that over time, Miscavige became more and more obsessed with keeping the Sea Org members who work at the different echelons of management completely separated from each other. Not allowed to live together, not allowed to marry each other. Usually this was limited to things like people.
You think that would be what they would want? I mean, that's one of the big successes with religion is that they encourage marriage because that ends up resulting in children. And when they have children, that repopulates or it continues expanding the population of your religion. Why the hell would he not want to encourage something like that?
CMO weren't supposed to marry people in service orgs, or people at the international base weren't supposed to marry people.
Oh, good grief, dude. That's so fucking convoluted.
This has gotten even worse.
I
don't want to get too far into the weeds as far as
is he trying to run it into the ground?
On the Flagland base, you have the organization responsible for delivering Scientology services. That's called the Flag Service Organization. You then have a separate organization responsible for maintaining the buildings and the grounds. It's basically the maintenance, the estates people. That organization is called Flag Crew. They're separate orgs. The Flag Service Organization is always considered slightly senior to the crew org. The captain of the Flag Service Organization is a lieutenant commander rank in the Sea Org. The captain of the Flag Crew org is a lieutenant in the Sea Org ranks. And that just showed there was a relative seniority and juniority, not a real word, between these orgs. David Miscavige no longer allows these Sea Org members to live on the same base. There's an entire apartment complex just for people that work in Flag Crew. There's a separate apartment complex, the Hacienda Gardens, for the Flag Service Organization. There's a separate apartment complex for the Flag Land Base staff and CMO. And this indicates a level of paranoia setting in on David Miscavige that honestly I wouldn't even have guessed, because when I was at Flag, FSO and Flag crew, they're all Sea Org members. It's not like,
Right.
it's not like FSO is a management organization. FSO isn't a management organization. They just deliver Scientology. So it's not like you're fraternizing. Like, the guy who's
Okay.
responsible for maintaining the building isn't fraternizing with the guy who's supervising the course room. They're the same level of Sea Org member, even though one org is slightly considered a little more
They're doing
prestigious
different
than the
things.
other. This is
Okay.
absolutely incredible to me. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
asked
weird.
them about what is the deal with David Miscavige making all of these outer org trainees study at night and sleep all day. What is the deal? It doesn't even make sense. Miscavige claims, and the trainees claim, that it's because there's so many Scientology public and so
Well, what I would say, I'm being someone who has worked for a period of years, third shift, that when you work third shift for a prolonged period of time, it makes you feel like a zombie. I mean, like sleeping all day and working all night. I mean, I did it mostly when I was in my 20s, so I had the energy to do that. Plus, I mean, I mainly did that. I mean, he's making a
many
weird face
train
here, but like my daughter was very young at that point. She was like toddler age. So, like I had the energy to handle it. Like I worked all night so I could stay home all day and take care of her and everything. And it all, kind of worked out in the moment. But yeah, day to day, it wears you out and it's exhausting. It not just taking care of a young child, but just working 40 hours a week in the middle of the night and then sleeping all day. It disorients you. And the days start blending together in a very strange kind of way. Like the clock moves slow. I'm not saying that like time flies by, because it really doesn't. It just, I mean, that's the best word that I could use for it. It's disorienting, and it's kind of a bizarre way to just, go by your daily life, like working third shift like that. And I wasn't doing like difficult labor or anything. I was working, like in an office, and like the job wasn't too bad at all. And I actually liked it a lot, to be honest. But I don't know. That was the first thing that I thought when he threw that out. So I was like, I don't know. Maybe he's just, just trying to wear him out or something. I don't know.
they couldn't possibly fit in the course rooms at the same time.
Yeah, I doubt it's because
And
they
I
have
said
too
that couldn't
many.
possibly be true, because when I was training at Flag, there was over 1,000 outer org trainees, and there was no problem whatsoever fitting us into the course rooms with all the public.
And now there's only
And on the
24 a
new
year,
training program
apparently.
that's happening now, there's only about 700 trainees. And back when I was there, they didn't have the big giant superpower building, and now they do.
Uh-huh.
This doesn't make sense. And he goes, believe it or not, there is some truth to the fact that you can't fit them all in, but not because there's so many people. It's because the building plans in the superpower building are so poor. There's a lot more course rooms, but they're a lot smaller. And there's so many individual course rooms that Flag doesn't have enough course supervisors to put a supervisor in every one of those course rooms. The space planning is terrible. And it just doesn't work to try to fit all of the trainees who are all studying the same thing into these multiple course rooms. So it's not that there's so many people. It's that even though the superpower building is a bigger building, when it comes to the course rooms, the training spaces, it's actually, you can actually fit less people in there. I go, oh my God. Oh my God, that's incredible. And he said, but there is another explanation. There is another reason. Miscavige did not want all of these outer org trainees who spent all this time in the real world coming to the base and infecting the Sea Org members with their WOG world black propaganda, enemy lines,
social media,
rumors,
the internet,
truths about Scientology. He wanted to limit the number of
I can understand how he might be getting a little paranoid, because over the last 10 years, man, like the anti-Scientology rhetoric has just been dialed up like crazy. Again, I haven't really heard anything on Scientology, at least in the last few years. I mean, I'm sure he's been hard at work on his channel. I'm sure there's probably tons of other YouTubers doing the same thing. I'm sure other documentaries and everything have come out. All I know is that when that big documentary first dropped, the one Going Clear, when I watched that, I was like, holy shit, man, what is this all about? Like, I didn't even, like, I heard of the word Scientology, but I didn't know anything about what it really was. And I've lived, like just down the street from these guys for a long time. And when I watched that, it blew my freaking mind. And it wasn't just the nature of this religious atmosphere that they had developed that piqued my curiosity. They're in my backyard, which also piqued my curiosity. So like I watched that documentary and then I kind of just started looking around and other places like what's that guy's name, David Ortiz or something like that. Like I checked out some of his stuff, didn't really follow much of it. I probably watched like 2 or 3 things that he put out, like just a little here and there. And then it just kind of fell off my radar and I just didn't really pay attention or care really much about it up until frankly until I came across this. And I was like, oh yeah, Scientology, I kind of totally forgot about that. And I mean, he's dropping some bombshells, man. Like Scientology's
on the base,
it's
that
falling
the
apart,
Outer
sounds like.
trainees interacted with. And so there was a portion of the FSO crew that was assigned to the night shift to deliver to all of these outer org trainees. But if the outer org trainees were on the base during daytime, they would be interacting with a hell of a lot more Sea Org members than just those who were assigned to deliver to them. And David Miscavige didn't want that. He wanted to limit their interaction with the crew, and he also wanted to limit their interaction with the Clearwater public Scientologists. Remember,
All right. Okay.
these are staff members from every org in the world. With a little bit of ingenuity and curiosity.
Yeah, because also just because like if you join Scientology, you don't have to live on inside one of their buildings or in their compounds or apartment complexes. Like you don't have to fully, completely devote your entire life 100% to it. There's a lot of people. I don't know what the ratio is. How many Sea Org members versus just members of the public who are just Scientologists who just come in whenever they come in to do their auditing and like whatever it is that they do. But there's a lot of people who are Scientologists. They own their own homes or their own condo or, you know, like they don't live in Scientology. They just identify as a Scientologist or they practice Scientology and they just live out in the world. Like they have their own full-time job. They could even possibly be married to somebody who isn't a Scientologist. I don't know if that's actually true or not. According, you know, to what I've read, that's not really something that can be done, but who knows? I mean, I don't know. If you give them enough money, maybe they might, you know, look past that. I have no idea. I'm sure that they'll probably constantly encourage you to get everybody you know into Scientology. I'm sure that's what they're really trying to push all the time if you happen to be one of those people. But yeah, I mean, like there are a lot of people that live in the general area that I live in who are Scientologists, and they go and they practice and they pay their money, they take their courses, and you know the rest of their life that they live, just you know they do their family life, they have their own friends who may not even be Scientologists. They go grocery shopping, they watch sports, they sleep in their own bed at night. You know what I mean? Like, so for David Miscavige to try to separate those two, I mean, honestly, from my perspective, I don't see it as being that shocking because ever since I first heard the name David Miscavige, it's been kind of synonymous with him being paranoid and him just always watching his back and like those high-ranking members, how they put him in that like solitary confinement shed or whatever the hell they were talking about in that documentary I keep bringing up, and how he thought like these higher-ranking members were out to get him and he didn't want to be overthrown or some shit like that. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, this isn't really a big shocker to me personally that like he would try to keep the outsider Scientologists from the Sea Org, because again, the Sea Org Scientologists, they're 100% in Scientology constantly. Like they don't get on the internet, they don't get on social media, they're not watching the news, they're not plugged in like everybody else in the world are. Like they're completely they're insulated by Scientology completely and fully. And they 24/7 they devote their time only and strictly to Scientology, and that's it. So yeah, not too surprising that this dude would want to, you know, keep the Sea Org members away from everyone else, because there's a lot of information out there, and every time that you look up Scientology, there's a lot more bad stuff with regard to Scientology and what they're up to than stuff that makes them look like a good organization or an organization who's doing any good.
One public Scientologist could very quickly learn that every single Scientology org in the world is empty, even the ideal orgs. Miscavige wanted to limit all of that interaction as well. Pretty incredible, huh?
They're not finding people.
Okay, one piece of information about the cause resurgence rundown.
Okay.
I've talked about this before. I've heard about this before. This has been explained to me before, but it's so foreign to me that every time I hear it, I'm surprised. And every time I hear it, it makes me want to do a video about it.
All
The
right.
cause resurgence rundown costs $2,500. It's a confidential action in Scientology. It can only be done in Clearwater, Florida at the Flagland base. And I said to him, is it really this? Is this what it really is? He goes, yeah, that's really what it is. It is an entire floor of the giant superpower building, an entire floor turned.
Yeah, that one big, where the hell did I have that? I don't know where the fuck I put it. I don't even know where the hell I put it. Hold on. I could have sworn that I just had it. Let's see. Bear with me just a second. Okay. Yeah. Again, this is it. Flag building. He said the entire floor of this giant building here. I wish they had more pictures on here of that. But yeah, that's the building that he's referring to. That there's an entire floor that they're dedicating to what it is that he's talking about. Oh hell, hold on. Actually, I just had, where the hell did that go? If I go back, they had a better aerial view of one. Hold on, let me see if I can grab it over here. Is this it? Was that the one I was just looking at? Yeah. Like, yeah, that's a good, not really that good of an aerial view of it, but yeah, here we go. Is that it? I think that might be the flag building, maybe a different view of it. I'm assuming. Yeah, that's going to be it right there. And that's that bridge that crosses over to this other building. I don't know what that might be, a hotel or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, so how many floors is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 floors. Maybe, probably 6 if you include the ground floor. So, I mean, yeah, pretty big building. So, anyway.
Into a massive circular track where Scientologists walk around this track for 5 hours a day.
Why?
For weeks and weeks and weeks. Every day, never skipping a day.
What the fuck are they doing? Generating electricity?
Room.
What the hell?
With a pole in the middle.
No.
Illuminated with LED lights. Now, guys.
Wait, what?
Even to a Scientologist, this is unbelievably creepy.
Weird.
And culty. This is a confidential action.
Why?
Scientologists aren't allowed to tell other Scientologists what it is. You and I and everyone else on the internet and the world know more about things like this and about Scientology than your average Scientologist, because your average Scientologist isn't allowed to know these things. They're not allowed to ask these questions. No one's allowed to answer their questions.
So maybe that's why what I was about to say was, why the fuck don't they just go outside and just walk the perimeter of the building? I mean, if they're ordered to walk and they're not allowed to ask questions, just walk for 5 hours a day. Why not just circle the fucking building? Just go around and around and around for 5 hours. But if they did that, then, you know, because this is accessible to the public. You know, these sidewalks and whatnot, like I could drive down there and just park across the street as long as it's public parking, and I can just walk around the building myself. I mean, this stuff isn't gated off. It's in the middle of downtown. So, you know, these buildings, every time they walk out of that building, they're immediately in public. So, like I said, when you're in downtown Clearwater, you see these Scientologists walking around everywhere. They're extremely identifiable. They all wear white shirts and black pants. They all do. And I mean, I'm sure probably the regulars, the ones who are just going in for, you know, their Sunday afternoon auditing or whatever, and they just, you know, live out on their own, they probably don't wear what appears to be a uniform. I mean, to be honest with you, when I first went down there, this was probably like 2000, maybe 6 or 7. I first went down there and I noticed like all these people like just wearing matching outfits. I thought that they were working for like a company like Verizon or some shit. I thought they were working in some office call center, and like these dudes were like out on lunch break or some shit. I'd swear, for like 3 or 4 years at a minimum, that's what I believed. I just thought there was just a bunch of corporate people just walking around in downtown Clearwater, and then somebody told me they were Scientologists, and I was like, well, what the hell is that? And they're like, oh, I don't know, some like religion or something, I don't know. And then and then I went down there like I don't know, however long after I was told that, and I was noticing them walking around again, and I was like, where the hell are they going? I mean, okay, I know they're Scientologists. I don't know what the hell Scientologist means, but like you don't, like if you sit back and you just like observe them for like 10 minutes, they don't really appear to be going anywhere. Like they'll just like walk from one building, and some might walk into another building, or another one might walk down this way and then turn around and walk back this way. It's very strange. It's I don't know. There's really no way to make heads or tails of it if you just sit there and you observe just the people, the Scientology people in downtown just walking. And I don't know. It's very bizarre. I don't know. It's weird.
You and I live in the free world. We don't live in a cult.
Yeah. See, I live on the outside. It just looks weird to me.
Scientologists being like, oh my God,
I don't
you
understand.
do this cause resurgence rundown. It's amazing. It's going to revitalize you as a being. It's an OT objective process. It's done independent of the body. But L. Ron Hubbard figured out a way to do it in a body. And you're like, wow, sounds magical. And you pay your $2,500. And they give you a tracksuit.
Probably per course.
Like, oh, what's going on here? And then you open the doors. And imagine walking into a massive, cavernous, dark room where you see 50 people walking or slowly jogging in a dark room around a circular track with
in this building, by the way,
in the middle.
In this building. What the fuck? You would never expect that in a building like that. That's weird.
Unbelievable. Okay, let's get down to some other real statistics here.
Okay, all right, hold on. Like right before he does that, I'm just out of just my own personal curiosity. I just want to know how much. Now, like, what should I start with? OT1 maybe. I'm just curious to find out how much does it cost to get to OT1 in Scientology. I'm just curious. If it'll even tell me. It probably won't even tell me. Oh, it can vary. Just depends. Maybe. $27.50. I somehow doubt that, man. Remember, this was once offered for $300, and it significantly increased. Oh, here we go. The estimated cost to reaching clear is significant, potentially around $128,000 for processing services. Co-auditing may lower the cost to around $50,000. I assume that means that if you become an auditor yourself, in other words, like you devote probably hundreds, if not over 1,000 hours worth of your own personal time just to, I don't know, helping other people along the way. But OT, to get clear, that's OT3, I think, right? Which OT level is clear? I think it's level 3. Oh, wait, hold on. It's not an OT level. Oh, okay. Isn't the OT... So the OT's beyond clear, right? That's right. Hold on. I think it is. I think it's actually beyond. I think the OT level is beyond. Oh, hell, man. I don't want to go scrolling through all this. Now, why couldn't you just show me the freaking picture? All right. Hold on. Oh, hell. That's because it's tiny. It's only 400. The bridge to total bankruptcy. Uh-oh. Well, anyway. I mean, I would actually like to get a... Hold on. Let me try this. Just freaking bear with me. Damn it. Here we go. Large. Yeah, there's clear. Well, clear is written big right there. All right, let me see if I can bring this up. Yeah, this ain't helping. There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. So OT is up. It's above clear. So grade V, and then VA, and then solo course, OT preps, and solo course, OT eligibility, and then grade 4, release, and then clearing course. Then you go clear, and then sunshine rundown. So new era Dianetics, expanded Dianetics, and then the clear certainty rundown, which I'm assuming, yeah, so those who do not go clear on NED, so I'm assuming the majority of people, once they've raised up to this point, they probably skirt over here and they have to go up all this. And then I guess at that point, that's when they end up sunshine rundown, and then solo course, OT prep, solo course, OT eligibility, and then you keep going up from there. But from what I've heard and what I saw, going, like, once you hit clear, like, that was the highest level you can go. Like, once you're clear, you're good. Like, you got all the bad guys off your skin, and, you know, like, your mind is all, you know, at 100%. You're at the peak of your possible ability when it comes to studying all this and getting to where you need to be. And then according to the documentary or a series of documentaries, that, you know, adding courses above clear was just a way just to shake more money out of people. I mean, at least that was what was, being communicated to me, at least. Me, just the ignorant observer who's not been, balls deep into Scientology for years on end, who doesn't have relatives in it or anything like that.
Because I'm gonna have to go soon.
All right, stats.
The
Let's hear some
weekly
stats.
income of the Flagland base for services, selling Scientology, auditing, and services and books. The weekly income of the Flagland base is about $2.4 million a week. That's a lot of money.
Sounds like a lot of money.
It's the exact same amount of money Flag was making 20 years ago.
Whoa!
That's right, folks.
Really?
All of David Miscavige's horses,
about 100 million a year.
All of David Miscavige's men, the best they can do is make the exact same amount of money they have been making for the past 20 years. Now,
right. However, I mean, Scientology was kind of on fire though 20 years ago, wasn't it? I mean, on fire in a good way. I mean, what weren't they like crushing it in their numbers back then? Like 20, 30 years ago, didn't they have a shitload of people in Scientology back then? I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess there is the whole issue of inflation and our economy not doing so well these days. So, maybe that kind of plays a factor into it. But
they might go, "That's not crumbling." Yes, it is.
I'll take his word for it.
David Miscavige only makes that money at Flag.
I'll play gullible
by cannibalizing the Scientologists and the business of every other Scientology org in the world, which is partially the reason every other Scientology org in the world is practically empty.
That I've heard. They've been talking about that for like 10 plus years.
Suck all that money.
They're buying properties and they're empty.
I said Flag is what is supposed to be the reflection of the quality of David Miscavige's management skills.
The
IAS, the International Association of Scientologists, makes, at least at Flag, I've got to clarify if this is just the Flag office or if these are the international stats, makes about $500,000 to $1 million a week. I believe that's the Flag office. But remember, when the IAS makes that money, that's free and clear. They don't owe anything to anybody except a pin, a trophy, and a certificate. The problem with making the money in Scientology,
which they probably make in-house
by selling services, is you have to have the infrastructure and the personnel in place to deliver those services.
True.
And for some reason, that's always been a big challenge for Scientology. I mean, Scientology has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of undelivered service on account. Miscavige doesn't care about that at this point. He seems to be pretty free,
no, dude, no refunds
from
no refunds.
IRS concerns.
Sorry,
it is
no refunds.
Technically speaking, a liability. Okay, how's Flag making their money? Flag is making about 2/3 of its income from the advanced org, from the where they deliver the OT
folks. Okay.
The majority of the money from the advanced org comes from the Scientologists who are auditing on OT7 and every 6 months have to come to Clearwater, Florida for mandatory interrogations and any correction and retraining.
I forgot about that.
I'm told there are about 700 to 900.
Imagine that. You have to pay tens of thousands of dollars of your own money to get interrogated. You can't make
Scientologists auditing on OT7.
That always gets me, man. That's so hilarious.
OT7 and their 6-month checks, or their refreshers, as they call them. The fact that these 6-month checks, every 6-month interrogations, is one of the most lucrative sources of income for David Miscavige and Scientology is actually
so mind-blowing.
David Miscavige has made it so much easier and faster these days to get onto OT7, because once you're on OT7, he's got you right where he wants you. He's got you right.
You got to be basically rich.
Now, guys, I'm just going to throw out some rough numbers here.
Now, I again, I don't know how true it is, but I have heard that there have been people who have wanted so badly to get up to the OT levels that they take second, third mortgages out on their house, or they'll outright sell their properties, and like they'll liquidate their assets in order to get into these OT courses. I mean, that is just obviously devastating. Just to hear that somebody would be going for that just to, again, I'm not a Scientologist. I don't know exactly what you get out of being OT 5, 6, 7, 8. Other than just a certain level of, I guess, personal peace of mind or something like that, or like doing something for the greater good. But at the end of the day, dude, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of your own money on it. And that's just a level that most people aren't even going to be able to get, just because they're just not ever going to get their hands on that kind of money anyway. So it sounds like it's just an organization that's really just being funded by more or less elites. That's what it sounds like to me.
I estimate that a Scientologist coming to Clearwater to do their refresher is spending no less than $10,000 per trip. It really could be closer to $20,000. Right. So just do the math on that.
So yeah, about $100,000 a year, more or less.
Spending $10,000 to $20,000 a month, twice a year. Automatic.
Oh, okay. All right. So 40, maybe 50.
Revenue. That doesn't include OT 1 through 6. And you can see that.
And of course, they're staying in the Scientology's hotels.
Scientology's money is coming from. It's coming from Flag. And that is and that money is being maintained at that level by cannibalizing Scientology revenue all around the world. And no matter how hard David Miscavige has tried, no matter what training evolutions he's put in place, no matter how many golden age of texts he comes out with, or golden age of ethics, or golden age of admins, the best he has been able to do at Flag over the last 20 years is keep it at the same level. And he's figured out how to do that.
Well, it sounds like he could use a tall glass of fresh ideas.
Scientology gets smaller.
Sounds like he needs some new talent.
And smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yep.
So on the one hand, he's sort of clever enough to figure out how to prop up Clearwater and the Flag land base, but not clever enough to figure out how to keep Scientology expanding. Because what's the actual smart way to keep stats up at the Flag land base? To make sure Scientology is expanding all over the world. If you actually could keep Scientology expanding all over the world, you couldn't help but have the stats be up at the Flag land base, because the Flag land base is the top of the bridge. But David Miscavige isn't smart enough to figure out how to do that. So he's been very diligently figuring out how to bolster the stats in Clearwater, Florida, by cannibalizing the stats everywhere else in the world.
All right.
Let's see. What else do I have here?
I like them apples.
Oh, and last but not least, I'm still trying to find actual evidence of this that I can use in a video. But this particular source tells me Russia has banned Scientology.
What?
The Moscow organization and the St. Pete organizations do not exist.
What?
I do not have independent evidence of this. I'm desperately seeking independent evidence of this. Any under-the-radar Scientologists, ex-Scientologists who can speak to me from first-hand knowledge and experience, or introduce me to anyone who can. I'm desperately trying to prove this.
Well, here, dude, I already found it for you. Did Russia ban Scientology? Yes, Russia has effectively banned Scientology. In 2021, the Russian Justice Ministry designated 2 key Scientology entities, the World Institute of Scientology Enterprises International and the Church of Spiritual Technology, as quote-unquote undesirable organizations, prohibiting them from operating in the country and freezing their assets. This followed a September 2021 declaration by the Prosecutor General's office that these groups posed a, quote, threat to the security of the Russian Federation, end quote. Holy shit. All right, hold on. All right, so this, okay, it comes from RT, so, that's just from the Post. But Grok is pulling this from these web pages. Scientology in Russia on Wikipedia. Okay, take that with a grain of salt. Reuters.com, the Moscow Times, rferl.org. I'm assuming that's probably Russian. The Guardian, bitterwinter.org. I don't know. hrlc.org.au. That sounds Australian. The MoscowTimes.com, lawpluralism.unimib.it. CBS News, #.al or AL, en.iz.ru, that's Russian. Bitterwinter, TASS.com, and hudoc.eh or echr.coe.int. So it's pulling from quite a few different sources, and these are the relevant web pages that Grok's pulling this information from. I mean, posts, I don't really ever look at posts, man. They're posts. I mean, anybody can write a post. But hey, man, I mean, I maybe those sources are not definitive enough for him to take, but I mean, according to just some layman, just some outsider, just using a freaking keyboard in a computer, I mean, according to what I came across, yeah, it looks like Russia banned fucking Scientology.
You guys can reach me. Anybody can reach me. growingupinscientology@gmail.com. I'm told it's one of the reasons there are so many Russian Scientologists at Flag. It's because it's the only way they had to keep doing Scientology. They could not keep doing Scientology in Russia. It's also one of the reasons the Sea Org recruits have dried up. They used to get a lot of Sea Org recruits from Russia, and now they're getting zero Sea Org recruits from Russia.
Well, I think I might know why.
Okay, guys, let's see. I've got some starred comments here, but I
think it's because Russia banned freaking Scientology.
Let me just say welcome Mazur as a new channel member. Welcome Super Stormy Day as a new channel member. I'm going to briefly go through these things. It's 1:53. I have a few minutes.
All right. Well, yeah, that's basically it. I'll just cut it there because he's just going to read super chats and stuff for his own folks. But anyway, I'll go ahead and jump over to his channel real quick, just to have a quick look because I like to do that. Growing up in Scientology, he's got 2,700 videos. Damn, man. So if you want to get as far deep into the realm of Scientology and you want to do it from a former Scientologist perspective, this looks like a good place to start. Looks like you've probably only got like 10,000 hours worth of content that you could probably immerse yourself in. He's got over 114 million views in total. That's a ton. He's been on here since 2015. So hard at work, man, exposing Scientology, apparently. So, I mean, that's the first video that I've seen of his channel, and I'll probably check out some more of his content. That was fascinating. Like that was absolutely crazy to hear that. I mean, again, having lived, you know, the last 20 years of my life just right down the street from Scientology, it's always kind of intrigued me. And I mean, I guess, you know, the former Scientologists and the documentary filmmakers, you know, they got to me first and not the Scientologists. I mean, I don't know what to say, but I mean, I just, you know, just some average member of the public, just doing my thing, living my life. And I just came across what I came across. And that's just kind of where I found myself as far as Scientology goes. But man, what a fascinating freaking catch up. That was pretty crazy. You know, what an update. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got. So I mean, I might look into this a little bit further just to see what else is going on with it. But I mean, that's basically all I got for now. So thanks for watching. See you later.